Out here, it's not only the amazing views, but the way time stretches out a little longer. How laughter bellows louder among friends, and how the breeze hits just right at the summit. With All Trails, you can discover and experience the best of nature, with over 450,000 trails worldwide and navigation right at your fingertips. Find your outside with All Trails. Download the free app today and find your next outdoor adventure.
Last week, we watched The Master of Disguise.
This week, we're watching Signs.
The connection is that they were both released within a week of our editor's birthday. Is that a stretch connection, Zach? I don't know if that's a...
I'd say that's a half stretch. That's a half stretch. It's close.
Also, oh my god, he's so young. We need to fire him.
Yeah.
Welcome to Oldie but a Goodie. Oh my goodness, it's a show where Zach, that's my co-host, my name is Sandro. We watch movies that are vaguely related to the previous movie that we watched. We're doing M. Night Shyamalan Signs this week, and Zach, I got something really quick to bring up with you.
Oh yeah?
We really didn't think about getting guests on for this format. We got Han on a couple months ago, but like it's been really hard to get guests on, right?
Yeah. We should get more guests on at some point.
Yeah, we definitely should. But the problem is, like, I don't want to make someone watch something that they wouldn't usually watch, you know?
That's true. Yeah. That's the problem. We keep picking terrible movies. And by we, I mean you. You keep picking terrible movies.
I did pick Master of Disguise. Objectively, one of the worst movies we've ever done. Yeah. Well, anyway, this week we made a guest watch something that they wouldn't normally watch. This week, we're doing Signs with special guests. Please welcome to the show, Jodie Sloan. Hello.
Hello! Thank you so much for having me.
Whoa!
I'm so excited to be here.
It's great to have you. It's good to have someone else on the show that isn't just Zach and I. It's been so long.
Are you guys going a bit stir crazy?
Yeah. Well, it's just we figured we've covered all the bases of the two white guys in a podcast, you know. So we need to stretch out.
And I'm happy to reach that diversity quota for you.
Excellent.
Of the year. Don't need another guest on this year. We've covered it off.
We did it.
You're done.
Tick that one off.
White woman, check.
Exactly. Signs is the movie, Jodie is the guest, Zach is the co-host, and as I mentioned, I'm Sandro. Now, this came out on the 2nd of August, 2002, which apparently is a couple days before our editor was born, so that's the connection that he came up with for this movie.
I was going to say, we connect the movies. Some connections are less connections than others, you know?
Yeah. And I like this connection nonetheless. Now, we will jump into non-spoilers and then spoiler opinions of the movie, but before we get into that, Jodie, you're here because you have a brand new podcast. So you're a comedian. You are on all of the stuff. I've seen you on TikTok. You pop up on my TikTok sometimes. I'm like, I don't know that person.
Whoa,
that person's there. And then you got a new podcast. It's also a video podcast, and it's also a role-playing podcast. It's called...
Whoa!
It's called... Sorry, Zach's just throwing me with constantly saying, whoa.
Whoa!
It's called Tale of the Azure Knight. I've heard the first episode. It's fantastic. I'm absolutely enjoying it. What is it about, and where can people find it? Straight off the bat.
So it is a D&D / improv roleplay podcast. It's very loosely D&D. It's more focusing on like the storytelling narrative aspect of that. Basically, I just really like romantasy and like rom-coms. And I was like, what if I took D&D and made my players kiss? So it's basically that. I've like added like love triangles and adventure, and it's just based off like all of my favorite movies as a kid. So like my favorite movies growing up were like Stardust, Ella Enchanted, Pirates of the Caribbean, Lord of the Rings. Like those were my top 4. And so I basically just...
Lord of the Rings is my favorite romance.
Between Frodo and Sam.
Yes.
Between Legolas and Gimli.
Oh, that too.
I ship them.
Legolas. Anyways, but yeah, it's basically just like a really fun, silly improv show. It's like going really, really well so far. We filmed the first 3 episodes, and hopefully we'll film the next 3 like in the next like month or so and release them on like a fairly consistent basis. But everyone did such a good job. Like, it's crazy how well they casted and stuff. So I'm just having so much fun like editing and that sort of thing. So yeah, check it out if those sound like something that you're into.
Yeah, they are fantastic. I'm really enjoying them. I feel like a lot of like D&D podcasts are really inaccessible to a certain degree, and I think this one is like it. I didn't find that at all. I was like immediately like I was like, oh, you've laid down what the world is. It's great. I love it. Everyone on the cast is fantastic as well. So highly recommend checking that out. It's also video, which is great.
Yeah, I feel like the video makes a good.
Where can I check this out?
It's on YouTube. It's under the channel name Hot O'Clock Television or TV, and also on Spotify under Hot O'Clock as well. Or you can just search The Tale of the Azure Knight. But it's on video on both Spotify and YouTube, or you can just listen to it on Spotify.
Amazing. There'll be links in the episode description as well, which way everyone can check it out. So that's all there. Check it out. Now, you mentioned some great movies there. So Stardust is a banger. Pirates is a banger. Lord of the Rings, Ella Enchanted, all bangers, all amazing movies. But nothing at all like the movie Signs that we're reviewing today.
No, nothing at all.
I was going to mention that.
So straight off of the bat, I want to throw it over to you. First impressions of Signs. What did you think of this movie? Had you heard of it before?
I hadn't heard of it before, although I feel like I'm wondering like how popularized or mainstream the idea of crop circles were before this movie. Maybe like I've heard of crop circles because of this movie and just like didn't know about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what like came first, the chicken or the egg kind of vibe. But yeah, I hadn't really heard about it before. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, considering the fact that I don't really like thrillers and horror movies. Like I said, like I like rom-com fantasy vibe. But like, I actually liked it more than I thought I would. So that's saying something.
That's really good. That's great. That's fantastic. I was expecting you to come on here and be like, I can't believe you made me watch this. This is the worst thing I've ever done. So that's great.
I'm a pretty positive person, and I also believe that I can acquire any taste, so I'm really open-minded. Like, I taught myself to like spicy food, so I go into the same attitude for movies,
Ooh.
Amazing.
What did you guys think of it? I'm worried I'm going to come in and be like, oh, I didn't mind it, I liked it. And you guys would be like, because you watch a lot more movies than me.
This was terrible. This was the worst movie I've ever seen. Anybody who likes this is bad.
Oh, well, Zach, what are your first impressions then?
Oh, no, I liked it. This movie was great.
Right, good.
This movie was awesome.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think crop circles were more popular in the 80s, actually.
Maybe.
Yeah, because you didn't have evidence to prove that they weren't aliens. So people were just like, whoa, look at this circle in my field that definitely wasn't done by my tractor at 3 a.m. in the morning. Isn't that crazy? It's probably aliens. And everybody was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was aliens.
I'm having a look. It seems like they were popular in like the 60s, that like some Australians were going on about how they've got crop circles and stuff. And
those Australians.
But I think it definitely did disappear a little bit for like our generation until this movie popped up, I think. Like, they're not that, aside from the History Channel, they probably plug in this constantly. But,
that's probably the reason they're back, Yeah.
God, the History Channel is so funny. Like, you would just randomly flick to it one time and it would be like, Bigfoot scene. And you'd be like, change the channel.
I remember watching the History Channel as a kid and watching mostly documentaries. And then eventually the documentaries, they just ran out of all the, like, ones that made sense. So they just started putting on any documentary they could find. And it got really weird.
I guess so strange. It's so funny.
But yeah, back to this movie. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I liked the characters. I liked the story.
Yeah.
I like how it was intentionally kind of vague in a way. I think the suspense and other things is done really well. It's fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
Excellent.
I wasn't expecting anything going in, and I was pleasantly surprised with everything.
That's very good. Starkey, you picked a good movie. Then we'll say that to our editor right there. What do you have to say to that, Starkey?
Absolutely.
I'm 1 for 1. Can't complain.
I disagree with you. I
agree with you, actually.
Yeah, it's making our editor work a little
Sandro
bit.
is bad at picking movies.
Jodie, if at any point you want to ask a question to our editor, and then he can record it later, just go ahead and just say a question, and that'll be all good.
Like, what kind of question?
Any question.
Just whatever you want, really. Just any question about anything.
What's your favorite color?
Cyan. Thank you for asking.
I bet he's not been asked that on this podcast.
Yeah. We're really not very considerate about our editor. We should really ask how he's doing.
That's a
what's his
great favorite color. Really good favorite color. Good job. You should be proud of that.
So supportive. Yeah. This is great.
What did you think of the movie?
I enjoyed it as well. I always go into an M. Night Shyamalan movie being like, this is either going to be great or I'm going to hate it for the last 10 minutes and then never want to watch it again. But this one is, I think it's, I thought it was really good. I liked, the suspense element of it was great, but some really good character work in there as well. Even if one of them is played by a raging racist, I think it was good. I enjoyed a lot of this. It's interesting watching an alien movie that's also, it's so obvious. I don't know. I found the alien stuff to be really interesting because the whole time I was like, they're not going to show it. And then 10 minutes in that they show something and I was like, what? It was so interesting. But no, it was great. It was quite creepy, which I thought was good as well. But yeah, speaking of M. Night Shyamalan, I don't think many of his movies would fall in the genres that you like that much, Jodie. But have you watched much of his stuff before, like Sixth Sense or anything like that?
I have not. I looked it up afterwards, what other movies, because I'd obviously heard his name before, but I think the only one I'd really been familiar with was Split. Actually, maybe I'll look it up really quickly and see if I do remember any out of curiosity. But no, I wasn't really familiar. What are Sixth Sense? What else is there?
Sixth Sense. I really like Unbreakable. That one's good. The Village is probably a classic. And then he also did the Avatar: Last Airbender live action movie that is terrible. So he's also responsible for that.
Oh, I hate him. Just kidding.
Yeah. He did quite a few, and we'll talk about a few at the end of the episode.
Oh.
Spoilers. Yeah.
Okay.
One of my favorites is called Old. I call it The Beach That Makes You Old because it's about a bunch of people who go to a beach and then all of a sudden they start randomly aging, and it's so silly.
I watched that on TikTok. You know when TikTok comes up with clips? I watched it on TikTok. It's so funny. All these movies are like Devil, The Happening, blah, blah, blah. And then it's she's all that. He's got range.
He does have range. I forgot that he helped to write She's All That. That's such a weird... I forgot about that. Yeah. I forgot he was a writer on that movie. What a weird little... what a strange thing. What a good movie, kinda. Anyway.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if this falls under this section of the podcast or not, but something that I really noticed with it was that they all were so calm the entire time. Besides maybe Phoenix in the closet kind of freaking out a little bit, the rest of the time, I felt I don't know if you guys heard of that psych study called still face experiment, where they get mums to make a really still face to their babies and then they measure the distress of their babies. I felt like the baby because they were just completely blank face the entire time, and I was like, surely you'd be showing more emotion right now. Why is no one yelling? You know what I mean?
I think they were trying to put on a stoic face so that everyone was calm.
It was just funny because the kids were doing it too.
That's true. Yeah.
They all were calm.
Well, I think the kids were the babies in that situation.
True.
And the adults were trying to keep it calm so that no one freaked out. Because if they're freaking out, the kids are freaking out and everyone's freaking out, you know.
Very true.
And they're tough old farm folk, you know. They they can handle a few aliens, you know.
That's right. I think as well, one thing that I always notice with Shyamalan movies is the dialogue is always really... it's like slightly off. It's slightly too not robotic. It's the wrong term, but everyone says everything really like matter of factly, but not like emotionally. And I think that maybe came across as well in the acting. I noticed that as well, and that I think helped when moments where people got a little bit more intense. I was like, oh, I don't know. It kind of hit a little bit more than I think it would have if they were running around like normal horror movie characters the whole time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think I just didn't relate because I would be running around being like, the aliens!
Yeah.
It is interesting though. Like the whole movie is kind of about it's kind of like how I guess the world would react to this happening. There's like a little bit of that here and there. But it is interesting that all these characters are just like, oh, okay, this is happening, I guess. And
yeah.
It's not really so, like, everyone's kind of panicking and making up, like, conspiracy theories around them, but they're just kind of like bystanders, which is interesting to have them as, like, your main characters, I think.
Yeah, I liked the perspective of someone who's not like the hero or the thing. It's just like, these are the average, the fight against the aliens is happening over here. What's happening over here with these random civilians?
Yeah.
That was a good perspective. If I was in this alien movie, I would be one of those people in Independence Day with the welcome here to the aliens standing on the roof. They get like immediately blown up. That would be the person I would be, for sure.
For sure. Did you like the acting, Jodie? Did you like, who do we have? We have Mel Gibson. I guess he's good, but it's Mel Gibson. We got Joaquin Phoenix as well. We had a Coughlin as one of the kids.
Yeah, that was wild because like I looked at that kid and I was like, I think that's a Coughlin, and then I was right because those genes are strong.
Yep,
and they were putting those kids to work.
They were really good. I liked the acting of the kids.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Abigail Breslin did great. I mean, she's such a star, but she was so adorable the entire time.
Yeah. It was so interesting, like, watching her, because I saw, like, her performance in Zombieland just coming out every now and then, but I'm like, but you're, like, 5. Why can't I see how you are in the other movies?
That's so true.
A lot of the side characters are good as well. I liked the cop, Cherry Jones, I think, played the cop. That was good. And M. Night Shyamalan is also in the movie as a character who has a really great scene. We won't say who he is, but he's a pretty important character, and it's always fun to see him in stuff. Did you dislike any of the performances, Jodie? Did you find anyone like unbelievable or anything not quite work for you?
Let me think for a second. I wrote down some stuff. I think the thing was just everyone having such still faces. But I think you're right. I think they were just farm people. And I think that's just how farm people are. They just gotta be stoic.
Yeah, take it on the chin,
Yeah, they're just tough. I really loved the brother character. Like,
yeah.
When he killed the dog. Sorry, that's a full spoiler.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those movies on the dog dies list.
Yeah.
Like, this one's a little rough for the dogs.
I think we can say that in non-spoilers just to warn people that that's in this movie.
Yeah. This is probably good that you spoiled that bit.
Sorry. Yeah, like when he did that for the sister, I was just like, yeah, he's standing on business, like, and he was sad about it, but he was like chill at the same time. I really liked, and I thought he acted really well for how old he was and stuff. They had such a cute little like brother sister relationship. I loved it. I thought that was really cute.
Definitely, yeah, 100%. I agree.
I will say I really liked how it all came together in the end. There was some like subtle things here and there. I was like, oh, okay. There was some very not so subtle things at the end there, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah.
There's a lot of foreshadowing.
Yeah.
I really liked the how they really hit you over the head with the brother being asthmatic. And so I was watching it with someone and they were like, yeah, they're really trying to get you to know that he's like a real nerd. And then by the end of the movie, like when everything happens, you're like, they're not just trying to say he's a dork.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think everything in the end is like pretty heavy-handed, like foreshadowed early on. That's true.
Which I think is the point. It's also makes it a fun experience to watch, though, because you're like, yeah, we get it. We get it. The glasses of water everywhere. We get it. But no, it's fun. It's good. One last thing to mention before we rate it and move on. Jodie, you're not a huge fan of horror movies. Was this one scary? Did you find this scary? Too scary? Not scary enough?
Now that I've seen it all, I can look back and say that it wasn't scary. But in the moments when there was like suspense and you didn't know whether or not something like really, really bad was going to happen, I was a little bit scared. But it wasn't any worse than like I've seen A Quiet Place and like Bird Box and stuff. So it was kind of like that. Like it wasn't terrifying. It was just kind of a bit suspenseful, a few little jump scares, you know, that sort of thing. But now I could watch the whole thing again and not be scared at all, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I thought it was very tense the whole time. There was a lot of tension, and I felt that tension. I think the music worked well with that.
Definitely.
They made some scenes where I thought about it, like watching the scene with the music. I'm like, if they didn't have the music here, the scene would be very silly. The scene would be very funny. But we'll get there.
Yeah. I think they do a really good job. Also, like, this came out in 2002, and it's hard to make, it's not really a spoiler, CGI creatures. It's hard to make them scary in 2002. And they did a pretty good job with that in this, I think. Like, there were some little scares here and there that definitely got me. So, no, all over success. Now, the fun part. We rate the movies out of an oldie or a goodie. Now, an oldie doesn't mean it's bad. A goodie doesn't mean it's, like, amazing. But if you were to give it an oldie or a goodie, we'll start with Jodie, just so you're not at all influenced by what we rate it. What would you give this movie?
So an oldie isn't necessarily bad, right? It just...
Yeah.
Correct.
It's just, like, kind of aged, and the parameters that we usually use are, like, would we recommend it to people?
Yeah.
And if we wouldn't, then we usually go oldie. Or if we just hated it as well.
Yeah. Or if we just have an agenda.
I'm going to say it's a goodie. I think it's a good movie. And I think it slots in well with, like, A Quiet Place or Bird Box. Like, it kind of could be almost in that, like, genre of, like, modern movie. Like, it didn't age terribly.
Yeah.
It just... Yeah. No, I liked it. I thought it was good.
Awesome.
I probably won't watch it again. But if someone said, hey, I really want to watch an alien movie and I don't care if the dog dies, then I would recommend this one.
That's really good.
That's a fair call. That's a fair call.
Yeah, that's good. Zach, how about you?
I definitely am going to give this a goodie.
Yep.
For sure. And it's a movie straight up my alley where it's got this mystery, but to figure it out, the things are really heavy-handed. It's like, here is the thing. It's going to be important. That's my perfect kind of mystery where it's like everything's telegraphed and it all comes together. I'm like, I have figured out the situation at hand 10 seconds before it happens.
Yeah.
I am very big brain.
Yeah.
But I also like the aliens. I like the spook. I very much appreciated the fact that they didn't show the aliens as much as possible.
For sure,
I
definitely.
found that very amusing, but also they used it really well as a very suspense sort of thing. It's like, is there going to be an alien? Isn't there? But they did show them, which I was also happy with, as you pointed out. They did eventually.
They did a little bit here and there.
I was very happy with this movie. I would watch this one again.
Wow.
I would definitely watch this one.
All right.
Only so I could feel very smart for knowing the ending, you know? Obviously.
Wait, so you'd watch it pretending that you don't know what the ending is? And
Yes, but then I would figure it out again. Yeah,
Yes.
obviously.
Oh, excellent. That's fantastic. I agree. I think the heavy-handing stuff, usually with international guests, I don't say this, but I will say it because Jodie, you're Canadian, so I will say this movie is very much made for an American audience, but in a way that I think is making fun of American audiences a lot of the time, which is heavy-handed explanations, but if you're in the know, I think it's kind of funny, which, you know, compared to a lot of other movies that I think are made in a heavy-handed way, it's a little bit better, which I liked, but I enjoyed that a lot. I liked that part of it. It felt very, there's just some weird dialogue in here that I just really loved. There's that one scene where the cop first comes into the house and just starts talking about some random old lady that was spitting on skateboarders. And I was like, what is this? This is great. This is fantastic. So Yeah. I think it is a little bit too heavy-handed at the end, but I also don't care. So I'll give it a goodie as well. So 3 goodies for Signs, which is pretty good. And it seems like everyone agreed. This made like almost $500 million, so that's, people like this one. But is it because of the taglines? It's the segment where I've got taglines for the movie. I'm going to read them out in a dumb voice, and we've got to give them a thumb up or a thumb down based on whether or not they're good. These are interesting ones. So we'll start off with the first one. It's not like they didn't warn us.
Where was the warning in the... Oh, no, the crop circles. The crop circles.
I think it's
Okay.
circles were.
The crop circles were a warning? Would they not? Would the whole... I guess that would be a split. I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
Yeah, I also am going to give it a thumbs down.
Yeah, I'm not intrigued by that one.
All right, that's all good. Maybe you like the next one. The Signs of Life.
I wrote down when he said the name of the movie.
He said the line.
Yeah,
he said the line.
It was at 43:18.
Oh yeah, okay.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Signs.
All right, so everybody get the movie. Skip
Thumbs
to that
up.
point. Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up as well. Yeah, that was very silly.
Excellent. How about a message, a warning, a sign of things to come?
Thumbs up again.
I'll give it a shaky thumbs up. They're pushing their luck. This better not be a third sign pun, or then you're getting a thumbs down.
Oh dear. Well, Well, the first sign you can't explain. The second sign you can't ignore. The third sign you won't believe.
Oh my god, there was 3 in it.
Double thumbs
up. God. Damn it. Oh man.
There's so many taglines for this one. How about this one? Believe.
Whoa.
It sounds like a campaign slogan.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Thumbs down.
Yeah.
You could give it a shaky.
Yeah.
You could give it like a middle one if you're not really feeling it, you know.
Because I think that plays into him being like a reverend. It's like it's all about him learning to believe again or whatever.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
There's a double meaning.
I was kind of thinking like, why did he go back to religion afterwards? You know, like surely aliens would make you think the opposite. But anyway,
I agree. But he believed in himself. I don't know. I don't know what they're saying there.
I know the reason at the end, and we can talk about it when we get to the end of the movie. But yeah.
The final tagline is "Don't see it alone," because it's scary. I guess it's a scary movie.
Whoa.
Yeah.
thumbs up because
Okay.
I was scared, and I'm glad I watched it with someone.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, don't see the movie alone. Okay. Yeah. I getcha. I'll give it a shaky. I'll give it a shaky thumbs up. Yeah.
Overall, taglines, I think all of the thumbs were a sign that the taglines were good.
I'm going to give that a thumbs down.
Lovely.
Well, howdy there. I'm an American, but how did I come to be? Well, I was born in America. That's my origin story, but not everyone's origin story is that simple. And that's what the boys are exploring right now over at patreon.com/oldie-but-a-goodie-powd, where they're reviewing X-Men Origins Wolverine, and they have some hot takes about it. The hottest take being that they didn't hate it, and I'm very confused because I like comic books and that makes me angry. Anyway, to get you angry, here's a clip. Also, Emma Frost is in this, which doesn't add up to... because she's in first class and she's an adult then.
Well, it could be a different mutant that turns to diamonds when they want to. I would say maybe when we get to Futures Past, it might be that is a different reality in that time, so Emma Frost could have been a
First
different
class.
person. Yeah, right?
Maybe. Who knows, really? And the thing with the X-Men movies is the only canon that matters is the previous one.
Correct.
It's not the canon of the franchise matters. It's do you remember what happened in the last one? Yes, that's all you need to remember.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not going to add up. Well, that sure sounds like a fun time, and you can go get that fun time at patreon.com/oldie-but-a-goodie-powd, where you can get all the X-Men bonus episodes for money. I was going to say for free, but you can't do that. What you can get for free is voting on the episodes that the boys are doing here on the main show. That's fun, happening for another month and a half. Patreon.com/oldie-but-a-goodie-powd. Also get ad-free episodes if you want as well. But yeah, X-Men Origins. That's a movie. I've run out of things to say, and there's a couple more seconds left of the... There it is. The ad's done. Patreon.com/OldieBuddyGoodiePod. I'm an American still, though. Yeehaw. All right, spoiler warning. Watch out. The dog dies, but also other spoilers to come.
Whoa!
The other spoiler is that not just one dog dies. That's the other spoiler.
Oh, yeah.
But 2 dogs.
That did suck. I was not a fan. I was like, damn, they could have done something, you know?
Yeah.
They could have put him in the barn. Like, they did that other one dirty. That was rough.
It was quite funny that they were busy, like, making mashed potatoes, so they forgot to put the dog.
Oh, yeah!
That's
That's what they were doing in the meantime. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like that scene at the dinner table, though. That was pretty emotional.
That was a surprisingly good scene. For like a bit there, I was like, what is Mel Gibson doing? What is this acting choice? And then about halfway through it, I was like, oh, no, I kind of buy it now, actually. This isn't too bad.
Yeah.
I feel like I was like that for him the whole movie. That might just be my distaste of him as an actor and person coming across. But I was like, what is this performance? And then every now and then I'd be like, oh, no, that's actually not too bad. So he's a former priest. He lives on a farm with his brother and 2 kids. And
former baseball champion / not champion.
That was such a funny scene where, he like goes to like enlist for the army and he runs into the main character of Wet Hot American Summer. And I was like, what the fuck is he doing here? And then he's just like, yeah, he may have the highest bat, but he's got the lowest strikeout or whatever it was that he said.
Yeah.
What a random scene.
But was that not just a massive foreshadow?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it was all every character scene was all just like, this is foreshadowing for the ending. But like, do we want to go through the story, right? We'll go through the story first. Yeah,
sure, why not? Yeah.
But like, it's all foreshadowing for the end.
Which is interesting because like whenever I watch a Shyamalan movie, I'm always like, okay, the twist at the end is going to be like it wasn't aliens or something like that. That's always because like he's known for his twists. So whenever I'm watching one of his movies, I'm like trying to predict what the twist was. I got it very wrong. Like I just because like whenever it was like the daughter is like the water doesn't taste right. I was like, oh, their water's poisoned and they're imagining everything.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. I thought she was going to be an alien in the end.
Oh.
That was my weird theory that I had at the start there, because she was acting all weird.
Sure.
And then the dog wanted to attack her, right?
Oh,
but the
true.
dog was just freaking out. I was like, oh, maybe she's actually been replaced by an alien. And it's going to turn out the only reason the aliens are here is because they want her back, because they're like, whoops, we left an alien here. Sorry, guys, our bad. That's on us, you know?
Yeah, that's good. Did you have any conspiracy theories of your during the movie, Jodie, where you were like, maybe something like this is happening here?
I think the whole time I just held out hope that the aliens were going to be good. And I'll be honest, I still don't buy that they were really bad. Like, I think that maybe that, like, here's what I think. I think they came to Earth not wanting to start a war.
Yeah.
I think that they have this, like, aerosol stuff that they use in their culture that's maybe, like, good for them.
Yeah.
But I think it was almost like they didn't realize that it was poison to humans, so he's, like, trying to help the kid with the asthma. But accidentally kills him. And then they're just like, whoa, sorry, my bad, and then they left.
Yeah.
For sure.
I thought he was using like the puffer, you know? He was just trying to clear his lungs. I was like,
Exactly.
oh, that's so helpful of you, Mr. A. Oh my God, what are they doing to him? Oh my God, leave him alone.
I thought that as well, and I was also like, well, maybe it's just that one alien that was violent because Mel Gibson chopped his fingers off. I was like, maybe that's true. Maybe that's the reason why that one's mean.
That'd be pretty valid.
And all the others are fine. Yeah.
He was also trapped in a like closet for a while as well. That would also make me angry.
I was thinking how funny it is that M. Night Shyamalan was like, yeah, I'm gonna be... It's like he gave to himself, but he also took from himself. Like, he was like, I am gonna be the cool one who trapped an alien in a cupboard, but I also did kill the preacher's wife.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Just for
That was
balance. I'm not all hero.
It did feel a little
got
bit like
flaws.
that as well, yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing. I've seen the parody of that scene in what, like, Scary what was it, Scareface or whatever? What's that movie
I
called?
think they make fun of this in Scary Movie at some point. I don't know which one. Maybe it's like 3 or 4 or something. But yeah.
It's either 2 or 3. It's not in the first one. But I remember they make fun because they have the officer lady in those ones where she has the hat that gets bigger and bigger in each scene.
Yeah.
And in one of those scenes, they have someone who's cut in half, and the guy's trying to talk with her, but they keep getting interrupted. Or I can't remember. It's been too long. But I remember they had someone cut in half, and I was like, oh, that's where this is from. You know?
Yeah. I love watching like movies like this that made a lot of money at the time. So people who were watching movies in 2002 and like, you know, like going to see this sort of stuff, they all remember it. I feel like no one else really remembers this movie. So whenever you see like parody and something else, it's like, oh, that's where that's from. Because sometimes the parodies are more popular. But yeah, they're all at the farm. They see crop circles and they're like, oh my goodness, some random teenage kids probably did this.
I have it written down. Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington Brothers. I thought it sounded like a band name.
Not the Wolfington Brothers.
Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington Brothers. They say it like 4 times. I think it's so funny.
Yeah,
the full name.
Yeah.
They do, yeah.
What are they, like a off-punk jazz band? Like, what's their go, you know?
I just can picture them like snapping around town.
Yeah, snapping, definitely.
We're gonna get your corn.
Yeah. I feel like one of them has a mullet, but they don't all have a mullet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He's the mullet one.
Yeah.
You know?
Lionel Pritchard.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mullet one.
He has the mullet. The
Yeah.
Wolfington Brothers don't. They have something else.
They have something
They're
else.
furries.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, no judgment. That's fine. So they are... Oh, and there's that great scene as well where they're like, the Wolfington brothers are on our roof or whatever. They like see someone on their roof, and so they like hype each other up to like run around the house trying to scare them, but none of them want to do it.
That was actually really funny.
Yeah.
I really like that bit. I like that a lot.
It was good.
I liked how bad they were doing it as well. That was very like, because he's an ex-preacher, so he doesn't like swearing.
Yeah.
What did he say in the end? He said like ass or something.
He said,
right?
I'm insane and I'm loud or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm loud and insane.
I'm running around and I'm angry or something like that.
Yeah.
That was so funny. I liked when he was like, I don't want to swear. I don't sound convincing when I swear. And I was like, that's a good line.
Yeah.
I related to that as a Canadian as well.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I feel like I've heard you swear in like your live shows. I think it's convincing. Maybe.
Thank you very much. I say, can you swear on here?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we don't care.
I say cunt in my show, but it's kind of like the punchline because it sounds bad when I say it. I'm like
no criticisms, but that was very funny. You really punt the cunt, you know?
It's the hard T.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I related to that because that's what I would be doing too. I'm loud and insane.
Yeah.
Get out of here, bozos.
The whole time I was thinking about it, though, that would work on aliens that weren't understanding English, right?
That's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
If you think about it, right? Because the aliens wouldn't know what they're saying, so it's only the angry inflections that they're hearing and them seeing them running around, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I was still confused, and I still am after watching the movie as to what the aliens were doing for a majority of that movie.
I think they were just hanging out. They were just kind of hanging out. I don't know.
They're doing crop circles, but why? And then they're going down and attacking people, or not even attacking people. They're just kind of there. Like, what are they doing? What were they there for in the end? Like, was that even explained at any point? Like,
I think they just wanted people to take.
Yeah,
apparently.
Were they kidnapping people?
Yeah,
like
this is the problem with M. Night Shyamalan movies. Sometimes is like they're all about the emotions. Like the movie's about believing again and coincidences and stuff. But then it kind of forgets that it's about the plot that it set up at the end. So it doesn't entirely wrap everything up. But also like the people that we were following, like they didn't really have anything to do with the aliens. They were just kind of like experiencing what was happening worldwide. So I guess through them, we wouldn't really know what's going on.
No. And I don't need to know what's going on. It's just curious to me because we never get to find out. Is like, what were they there for?
Definitely. Well, apparently one guy thinks because the crop circles are appearing worldwide, and so everyone's watching the news. And what's playing on the news is constant ads for some soda, some like Coca-Cola type soda, and some guys like,
oh,
it's just a conspiracy to sell sodas. And I was like, yep, that makes sense.
13 times.
Yep. I liked that. I liked all of the conspiracy theories like regarding what was happening. I thought that part was quite fun to watch.
It is funny thinking about it, because if aliens attacked or whatever, people would be like, oh yeah, the conspiracy theorists were right the whole time. They were like, even, they'll just say like blanket all of them, even though like 90% of them would still just be wrong.
Yeah.
But like there would be like 10% that was right, but like not everything would be right, you know? It's just weird.
Yeah. What else happens? Looking at the plot of the movie, not much actually happens. It's just kind of like a bunch of moments.
Yeah, the dogs freak out, and then one of the dogs tries to attack, and then the dog dies.
I have a funny line that I wrote down from Matt. The brother, he's like so young. He's like, what is he, like 7 years old or something? 9, maybe?
Something
at
like
most.
That. Yeah.
He says to the dog, stop it immediately. Did you guys catch that?
I think so. Yeah.
It's like, the dog doesn't speak English.
He is very
God.
he is an underrated Culkin. Everyone's talking about Macaulay and Kieran. No one talks about Rory. He's a good Culkin.
Yeah. He was great. Has he been in anything since? He's just done this.
He's in an episode of Black Mirror, I think. I haven't seen him in much. I'm having a look through. He's in a Scream. He's in one of the Scream movies, so that's something, I guess. But yeah, not a whole lot here, actually.
Something I noticed is that they don't really make clear the relationship between Mel and Phoenix. So I did, in fact, think that they were lovers.
Mm-hmm. I think you can get that from the
until
movie.
I found out that they were brothers. Because I was like, these, they're just co-parenting.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah. And he's like called an ex-priest. So it's like, why is he not a priest anymore? Oh, maybe,
For sure.
something else happened, right?
Yeah.
It's not clarified until the 17th minute.
Wow.
That they're brothers.
Okay. That's a lot of time that you thought that they were
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
The whole time I was like, wow, they have such good chemistry.
Yeah.
I think there was a point there where I was like, is he just like their neighbor or something? Who is this guy?
Well, they call him uncle.
Okay.
So you could take that literally, but you could also take that not literally, obviously, in any way, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I might have missed that too before the 17th minute.
They just call him like Uncle something, like whatever his name was, right? And so, but that could just be like, that still works for a gay relationship, right?
Really, still, for sure.
Because it's a married guy, he gets married, he has some kids, he finds out something else, he gets married again, oh, it's old Uncle, yeah.
What is this scenario that you've just come up with?
I've said this is the scenario in which one of them's called Uncle and they are in a relationship. That's all I'm saying.
Which is perfectly probable.
He was their ex-neighbor, Sandro, right? Like, it makes sense.
I did like as well how like everyone calls Mel Gibson's character like father. Speaking of like people calling the character's stuff, all of the jokes where like he goes into like a pharmacist and she keeps calling him father. That scene was quite fun, especially when she's like confessing to him for what like I assume is longer than 15 minutes, and then this old guy just like peeks out from behind the back of Mel Gibson. It's very funny. Some good comedic moments in this, I think, which is good.
I like how just after that confession he's like, all right kids, you're never hanging out with this chick, and I was like, whoa, you can't do that. Well, he's not a priest anymore, never mind.
So things keep getting spookier and spookier. We got the scene with the baby monitor. That was a good spooky time.
They hear some spooky alien communications by lifting up the thing on top of the car.
Yeah. I was always a bit scared of baby monitors as a kid. Whenever my youngest sister had to use them, I was always like, but this thing's scary. I don't want it around. Get rid of it. So that was, like untapped into a little...
What was scary about them?
I don't know. Something about it. Because they're like walkie-talkies, but they're a lot bigger for some reason. And I'm like, that's menacing.
I could definitely translate if it made noises that was weird. I'd be like, that's spooky. I don't like that,
For sure. I don't know. I just don't like baby monitors. Am I the only one?
Yeah.
I think I'm the only person on Earth who doesn't like baby monitors then.
They are weird. I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe you're like, because they're kind of invasive. Maybe when you were a baby, you didn't like it.
Yeah, maybe.
But you didn't have the words.
Yeah.
You're just like, you're invading my private domicile. I have the right for my own noises. You cannot invade my space here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But people start like putting on like foil hats. That was a fun moment.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Because they read the conspiracy book.
Oh, the book, yeah. The book was weird because I feel like the book never came back, but there's drawings in the book that directly mirror the characters and the house.
That was so weird.
That was just a coincidence. Don't look into that. It was just a coincidence.
It also, I think the book was meant to imply that, like, the aliens left because they said they would try again in 100 to 1,000 years or something.
Yeah.
So it was I think it was maybe just trying to give an explanation as to what the ending was going to be. Because
Yeah.
otherwise people would be like, why'd they just leave? Which I still think, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I did remember the book said they didn't use weapons because if they used weapons, then Earth would start using nukes, and they didn't want that.
Yeah.
And that was the movie's explanation as to why the aliens are just manhandling people instead of, pulling out a gun and going bang.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the strongest argument for the movie, but at least it had one. You know, I was like, okay,
For sure.
there you go. That's why
It tries to write in a reason.
yeah, that's why the advanced space aliens from outer space aren't using, lasers to just kill everyone and leave, That's fair, I guess.
I don't know. I feel like they're not that advanced if they also have armies. just like I feel like aliens are actually a lot like I always find it interesting whenever I'm watching like an alien thing and the aliens act like they're humans. I'm like, how did they learn how to do war like this? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, they didn't. They did war very differently in this movie.
True.
So
That's
maybe
true.
you're right.
I've got a random note here where I wrote down Mel Gibson walks like a toddler, and I don't know what it's a reference to. I don't know.
I think you don't need. Yeah, no, that checks out.
It's just written on the tin.
Yeah.
He just walks like a toddler.
Jodie, did you like the part where Joaquin Phoenix is watching the TV and there's that found footage moment of the alien in like Brazil?
That was one of my favorite moments. Because like you said, we actually got to see the alien for the first time. So I was a bit like, oh, I'm so glad that we're actually seeing it. And two is because I felt like he had an accurate reaction. Like, I feel like no one's reacted properly this entire time. And then finally this guy's acting how I would act, which is like hiding, just like glued to my screen and then freaking out seeing an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the first time where I was like, yeah, appropriate reaction.
Yeah.
I did think that was the scene where they had these really dramatic music, but if you take away that music, it would have been really funny to watch him freaking out over this alien footage. I took a moment, but it was a really cool scene. I also liked how even in the alien attacks, we're still got that handheld cam footage, shaky footage of this could be edited,
Yeah.
It kind of walks across like Bigfoot too.
Yeah, he totally does. He does the Bigfoot walk, and he even turns his head.
Yeah. That was very funny.
Yeah.
It was good. I think it's interesting that the movie doesn't really go that much into people who are Nah, it's all fake, actually. Like, it never really talks, like, a little bit with the guy who
Because
thinks...
I don't think that times were like that then. Like, in that time, there weren't so many skeptics. I feel like nowadays, everyone would be like, fake news, like, they're just doing this to try and distract us. You know, it's a manufactured... Project Bluebeam... Whatever.
So true.
But back in that time, you just trusted what they said on the news, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That's true. Yeah.
I still don't believe that they're evil, though.
Yeah.
Because he just wanted to go to the birthday party and they freaked out. That's not his fault.
Yeah, it's true. Why do aliens never, like, evolve to have pants? Like, why does their society not have pants? Although he didn't have genitalia, so does he need pants?
Up in there. Tucked.
Tucked. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Could
yeah.
be. That could be their version of pants, is just to...
Yeah. Maybe they're not actually green. They just wear a big one suit green.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, like those like zip-on full body suits that you can get online. You know,
Could be that.
maybe it's one of those.
Like the Daleks in Doctor Who. Like, it's just one little guy inside.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Imagine if when Phoenix hit him with the bat and just a little guy flew out.
Oh, that reminds me of the Men in Black one, where it's just a little guy in the head,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Yeah, it'd be like that. Absolutely.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That would be so cute. Aw, Shyamalan missed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great twist that would have been. Or like, it like, I don't know, like he hits it with the bat and then like a butterfly comes out and it's like, grrr, how dare you hurt butterflies? We've made these suits. And we're scaring all of you.
Oh my god, the butterflies strike back. Oh my god.
I just think it would have been, if there was some way for the aliens to communicate, them just being like, man, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to get rid of your asthma. I'm trying to make your kid less of a nerd. Like, fucking, why are you hitting me with a bat?
Yeah.
I also was wondering that, but I know that like around 2002, the whole like good alien, you were making it like it was E.T. E.T. was the good alien, right? So when you were making a good alien, you're like explicitly stating, here is the good alien, he is good, he is doing the good things. Here are the humans, they are the bad ones, they are doing the bad thing, right? Like it was very explicit, but I was like wondering, is this one of those movies where it's like, are they good, are they bad, do we know? I think, as I said before, Independence Day has that kind of thing with, like, some people are like, the aliens are here to save us, and then they get blown up, you know? And it's, yeah. So I was also...
That's really interesting.
I was wondering the whole time, it's like, what is their motivation to go to Earth? Because that's, like, always the main question that they ask whenever the aliens attack is like, hey, are they here to help or are they here to attack? That's the question.
And I think a lot of the time, how they write that off, I don't know if they do that in War of the Worlds. I've definitely seen other stuff where they do it, is the aliens are coming for water. Whereas in this one, they specifically don't want water. So I liked that twist as well. I like that little twist there.
Yeah.
Spoilers, the aliens burn when the water touches them, which wasn't that heavily, like, hinted upon throughout the movie. Water being important definitely was, because I don't think you could go 15 minutes without seeing a cup of water in the background.
Yeah. That was very funny. I did like that culmination of like, okay, so the kid has asthma, so he can't breathe really well. Mm-hmm. And the little girl, she doesn't like the water. So she keeps having all these cups of water. There's so many cups everywhere, just full of water.
Yeah.
And the brother, he's a famous baseball player because he played lots of baseball, but he always swung really hard. That was his main thing, is he always swings hard.
Yes.
That's important. Remember that, audience.
Remember that. I don't think there's anything that's like heavily foreshadowed with Mel Gibson's character. It's just like,
no. Well, his whole thing is the flashback where he sees his wife.
Yeah.
And we see, like, bits of those near the end of the film. And the whole thing with that and why I think he becomes a priest at the end is she's telling him to like have faith and believe it's all planned, right? And then she dies, and he's really upset. He's like, well, if this was planned, this plan sucked. I hate you, God. I'm done with it. But in the end, everything sort of comes together. It's like, why was my son born with asthma? Oh, it was so he could survive a poison attack, obviously.
Which is very silly when you think about it, but in the context of the movie.
Yeah. Why was my daughter born with the ability to taste water weird, right? Like, it was so that we would have lots of water lying around. And it's like, why did my brother get all this talent in baseball, but also, like, got kicked out of baseball so that he had to live with us, right? It was all, like, specifically designed, and, like, he has that realization at the end there. So he's like, oh, God did plan all this. I'm going to go back to the priesthood. And I think that's why he goes back at the end. Is because he figures this out, oh, it was all planned, you know?
And it's all done in a very Donnie Darko way where it just hits you over the head with what the meaning is over and over again. Okay, so M. Night Shyamalan killed the wife, and he's got an alien locked up in his pantry. And then Mel Gibson chops off his fingers. This is a fun scene. That was good.
That was pretty fun. I liked that whole, he's like grabbing the knife. I'm like, oh my God, is he going to go stab him?
Yeah. I liked when like he's using the reflection in the knife as well. That was very like quiet place kind of vibes.
It was
I
very
was like,
tense.
This is nice. But that was a good scene.
And you see the reflection in the TV at the end too. So I feel like, I don't know if that was just like CGI. They didn't want to pay for like the full view of him too much, but
it was definitely that. But it was good. That's the thing. It like obviously they did that so that they didn't have to CGI a lot, but it also didn't feel like they were like, I didn't feel robbed because it's like, oh, they're refusing to CGI because they did show the aliens enough. I felt I felt it was like a choice for the movie, not a like, we can't because it would be too expensive to animate, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It was just like, it was done really well, I think, in that aspect. Also, why did he impersonate a cop at the start there? I don't know. Why did he do that? True. That was very funny.
Because he thought it was the Pritchard and the Wolfgang kids.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I feel like at that point, he's coping. Like, at that point, it's like, there's no... Like, I was pretty sure at that stage of the movie, they were, like, pretty sure it was aliens at that stage. I feel like he was doing some coping. I like how he said paddy wagon, though. That was a good
that's
call.
Good. Definitely. Now, one thing that I always find interesting with horror movies and, like, talking to other people who also watch horror movies, I find horror movies get less scary the more they go along. But Jodie, did you find that this got less scary or more scary? Because then after this, we got like all the stuff in the basement. We have a lot more, I guess, intense kind of alien sequences.
It got way more scary. Because it was all daytime at the beginning, and then all of a sudden it was nighttime, and they were in the dark and stuff. That was really scary. And like I said, if I were to watch it back now, I probably wouldn't be scared because I know that like nothing. Like, you know, no one gets, like, disemboweled or something. But just a kid has an asthma attack. You know, like, I see that.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's true.
I have a friend that has asthma. I see that sometimes in my daily life. So,
terrifying.
Yeah, I really liked how the kid was so useful in the basement, too. Like, he found the flashlight and shit where and Phoenix hit the light out. That was really dumb.
That was really dumb.
Yeah. That made me really angry, but I was really happy that the little brother saved the day again.
Yeah.
He was so upset about forgetting his tinfoil hats, and I thought that was really cute. Yeah. I was like, they're going to read our impure thoughts. And I was like, that is definitely a religion allegory.
No. That's a whole... Well, he's a preacher's son. It makes sense, right?
Yeah, for sure. That was good. Oh, there's a moment, I think it's just before they go into the basement, they're like going to go into the attic, but there's aliens in there. And I was like, aliens in the attic! Just because that's a movie that I've never seen, but I remember the name of.
I think I've seen that movie. That brings a weird memory back. Anyway.
Next week.
Yeah, for real. No, but I did like M. Night Shyamalan's character, his whole sorry for murdering your wife, whoopsie daisy. And
he says it's almost like it was like,
meant to be.
It happened. Yeah. He says exactly what the wife says just before she dies, which is interesting.
Yeah.
There's a moment as well where I think Coughlin says something, and then they're watching TV, and then as soon as he says it, the news presenter says the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's
like really early in the movie.
This is going to rewrite the science books or something like that.
Yeah.
The kid's like, this is going to rewrite science as we know it. And then on the TV they go, this is going to rewrite science as we know it. And he's like, I said that. Yeah. It was good.
So silly.
Also, M. Night's like, I think they're scared of the water or something. And at that point, I was like, the director is directly telling the audience, like literally, it's the director of the film telling them the solution. I thought that was very on the nose, which was quite funny for me.
He always puts himself, I think he's in most of his own movies, and he always plays, like, the exposition character. I remember in Old, he plays the character who, like, tells everyone what's going on at the end, which is just very funny. It's always great.
I can't believe he played a character just so he could run over a woman. That's despicable, M. Night. You should be ashamed, you know?
He really should. Oh, the way that the wife died as well is so...
That's brutal.
So brutal.
So brutal. And also, this was another problem, just in my brain. Like, when he's welcomed onto the scene, like, he only has moments to say goodbye to his wife, and the policewoman is so calm, and she does not rush him over to her. She lays out the scene first, like explains it like so slowly, and I'm like, get a move on. He has seconds to say goodbye to his wife.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, the thing you do is go like, quick, over here. You need to talk with your wife. Go, 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 go. No time to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that would be cinematic, but it just felt not like real life a lot of the time in it.
Yeah.
You could have had Mel Gibson, like, remembering it and talking to himself like, I remember it like it was yesterday. She was, you know, stuck there, and the only reason was she was alive because they hadn't moved the truck back. But instead, the woman's doing the exposition in the scene.
Yeah,
sure. It was weird.
It was interesting as well, because she wasn't saying it with any urgency. It felt like they had a day whether they could just keep the truck there and she would be fine. It's like...
Yeah.
But,
well, it was all meant to be. So he was meant to only have, like, a short amount of time with her. So it didn't matter how long it took him to get to her. If he had come back next week, she still would have been here and only had like 2 seconds to talk with her. Like, it was all meant to be.
It's very burnt toast theory, hey.
It is.
What's that theory?
It's like if you're late for work in the morning because you burnt your toast, then you make another piece of toast, so it gives you like adds like 2 minutes to your time getting ready in the morning. But then if you had left 2 minutes earlier, you would have been in a car crash that you passed by on your way to work.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Like a Final Destination type situation?
Kind of.
Okay.
Except there's no retribution. It's not like...
Except you burnt the toast. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like you avoided death, but it's not like you have to die now.
Yeah.
Final Destination is like, oh, you cheated, so therefore, whereas this is more like it was meant to be that you burnt the toast so that you didn't die.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah. I get you now. I'm with you.
Yeah. That's what I say to myself every time I'm late to the train going to work. I'm
Yeah.
like, I was meant to be. I avoided a train delay. Oh, but I'm the train behind, so it's also delayed. Damn it. That didn't work.
I did miss the bus today, so it was probably meant to be. Yeah. I had to Uber to the station, so, you know, it was meant to be, you know?
You never know.
Yeah.
You never
know. The
know.
Uber driver was really nice, so it was meant to be. And he was just around the corner when I called the Uber. He literally said, I was just driving by. So it was meant to be. Oh my God.
Maybe it was.
Everything happens for a rationalization.
All right, guys, I gotta go burn some toast. I figured this out.
So we get the whole scene with the aliens. So they're in the basement, then they're not in the basement. Then the alien is like, "I'm gonna grab your kid," and then all of that stuff happens. And they,
I like how they keep breaking the lights over and over again, and then it got spooky.
And then the movie just hammers home what the point of it is for the final like 10 minutes as as like the water spills on the alien, and then the wife was like, you gotta tell your brother to swing hard or whatever. And so there's the baseball bat on the mantelpiece, literally, and picks
You know
it
what?
up and does that.
They kind of imply that both the mum and the daughter have like premonitions,
Yeah, for
which
sure.
they also don't go into. Same with like their house being in that textbook, but
Yeah.
there's some like witchy elements to this, like the little girl had a dream that her brother would have the asthma attack and almost die, and then the mum,
Oh my god.
when she was dying, she said swing as if she was like premonitioning, foreseeing.
gonna
You're
happen.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the mum that was an alien, not the daughter. Now it makes sense.
That's why M. Night Shyamalan killed her.
Yeah.
He knew
That
all along.
makes sense. He knew. He does hate aliens. He killed one, trapped one in a basement.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, for sure. Oh dear. Yeah, I just love the fact that the movie's like the kid has asthma to avoid getting killed by an alien. It's just a very funny thing to say. I think it's just very like it's great.
I did think in the scene where he grabs like the baseball bat, I thought Mel Gibson was going to throw something at him so he could bat it and then hit the alien from a distance, so the alien wouldn't be expecting that, so then he could rush him with the baseball bat. But no, he just rushes him with a baseball bat. That's all that really happens.
Yeah. Also, he figures out that the water hurts the alien, but he keeps hitting them with the baseball bat instead of using the water.
I think he's having fun. Let him have his fun. He's got
You're
like
so
one
right.
thing. He's a good swinger. That's like his one thing. Let him swing a bit. Let him have a good couple of rounds,
You're right. I'm sorry. I take that back. You're right.
Let him-
Phoenix deserves some fun. It's
He's
the one
venting
thing
his
he's good at.
frustration. Yeah.
The one thing he's good at. So interesting seeing him. I feel like anytime I see Joaquin Phoenix like pre her, I'm like, he's so young in this. Look how young he is. I just thought he looked very young in this. Anyway.
Yeah, he's handsome.
Yeah. Definitely. He's so like he is in this. I feel like he kind of like after he did movies like this, he tried to like go into like I'm gonna play the strange guy sort of route, but he really could have been more of a who's someone to compare him to. Who's the guy from Hitman? He could have been like a Glenn Powell type if he tried to.
He always gives me some sort of like goth vibe. I don't know what it is.
He has a very like kind of edgy aura, like Glenn Powell is like Glenn Powell is like I don't know how to describe it, like a frame of a human being, there's not much in there, whereas I feel like Joaquin Phoenix has like lore behind his eyes.
For sure. Yeah.
I did think it was interesting because they've got like water as the weakness of the aliens, which eventually causes the aliens' demise. And we brought up War of the Worlds. I think the movie brings up War of the Worlds as well.
At some
Which
point,
I
I
was-
think so, yeah.
I was like, damn it! I should have put War of the Worlds as an option for next week. Damn it!
That was another theory I had, was that it was like what happened when the War of the Worlds alien, like the radio play happened and everyone just thought it was real, but it was just a play. I was like, is there some sort of TV prank going on and this is all fake? Is that what this is?
Yeah. That would be a good twist. But I thought it was interesting because in War of the Worlds, isn't it like disease is their one weakness?
I don't remember.
I believe it's like they just get attacked by the microbes and couldn't adapt, so they all start dying. Whereas in this one, it's water. It's like are they copper based life forms? Is that what they're trying to say?
Yeah.
Like because we have iron in our blood, there's like a theory that you could use copper instead. Yeah.
Maybe. I wonder if they knew that that water was dangerous for them, because this is a terrible planet to choose to come to.
Yeah.
If water's bad.
I was wondering if that's why they're so like hands off.
Yeah.
Like they didn't want to give away that water was their weakness, which is why they were being so aloof. They were testing the waters, as it were.
Boom.
As it were, which is why they didn't like attack immediately. They didn't go everything. They were like trying to be really careful, because they were like coming to this planet to kidnap people or whatever, and then they're like, oh shit, guys, this whole place is covered in poison. This place is like Poisonville. We need to be real careful. They're like 70%.
Yeah.
So that's why they have the air stuff, because they can't slash us open. Because our blood would just like...
Oh, yeah. That's so
right.
true.
Yeah, that's very true.
All right, quick, everybody, bleed on them.
It's so funny. I'm imagining them just being like arriving and being like, ew, guys, no, don't touch them. They're so gross.
They're covered in poison. Get it away from me, icky.
All right. Any final notes that you have, Jodie, before we move on to the next segment? I think we've gone through the whole plot of this one.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I predicted that the aliens would be nice in the end, and then I was quite disappointed. What was that whole kissing a drunk girl story? That was random. Like the part where he was like, I was eating gum. I went to go get a gum. That was such a funny aside.
That was a strange one.
That's your whole toast theory, right?
Yeah.
He had the gum in his mouth, and that was the burnt toast, because he had to take out the gum, and then she vomited. And if he didn't have the gum in his mouth, she would have vomited in his mouth. So it was like, I do believe in destiny. Now I get it. I should have thought of the gum story. Yeah,
it's such a funny way to come to believing in destiny.
Yeah.
The way he framed it too is like, I would have been traumatized from that. Like from
I mean, that would have been pretty gross, yeah, but like
Oh man.
He got his wife sawed in half. Like there's worse things that could happen, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah.
This is Paige, the co-host of Giggly Squad. I use Uber Eats for everything, and I feel like people forget that you can truly order anything, especially living in New York City. It's why I love it. You can get Chinese food at any time of night, but it's not just for food. I order from CVS all the time. I'm always ordering from the grocery store. If a friend stops over, I have to order champagne. I also have this thing that whenever I travel, if I'm ever in a hotel room, I never feel like I'm missing something because I'll just Uber Eats it. The amount of times I've had to Uber Eats hair items like hairspray, deodorant, you name it, I've ordered it on Uber Eats. You can get grocery, alcohol, everyday essentials in addition to restaurants and food you love. So in other words, get almost anything with Uber Eats. Order now. For alcohol, you must be legal drinking age. Please enjoy responsibly. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Hey everyone, I'm Kayla.
And I'm Audrey.
I have never read Lord of the Rings or seen any of the movies. This includes the original trilogy or the Hobbit movies. The only experience I have is reading The Hobbit in the 7th grade.
Meanwhile, I've lived and breathed Tolkien for almost 20 years. Books, movies, all the extensive universe stuff, you name it, I've read it.
Poorly written fan fiction.
Also that well-written fan fiction. My own fan fiction.
Your own fan fiction is probably amazing. Join us on our journey to read through the book chapter by chapter in every single episode. You can yell along with me and laugh along with Audrey. Or you can read it for the first time right along with me.
The show is called Mordor She Wrote, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram.
May the stars shine on the end of your road.
That's Not Canon Productions podcast.
And now it's time for raving reviews. This is the part of the show where I go to the best review site in the world called Rotten Tomatoes and get away with those stinky, stinky reviewers because they don't know what they're talking about. What people really know it's talking about is the audience. They always know what they're talking about. They're super smart. They're never wrong. So I've gotten 4 reviews from the audience and 1 review that I wrote. and I've put them in a list. You have to guess what score that they have rated this movie. The scores go from 0.5 to 5 out of 5.
Yep.
So it could be 1.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. You get the idea, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'll tell you the review that they gave, and you have to guess the score. Obviously, there's two of you. This is going to be a raving reviews little battle off. See how many you can get.
I've never won, so I think
yeah. You could always let him win if you like. That would be very nice of you, but don't
If I
feel
lose,
obliged
that's
to.
what I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely. But one of these reviews is secretly done by me, so you can also have that in the back of your mind. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready to go?
Amazing. And we've got 76% from the critics on this one, 67% positive from the audience, which is a little bit lower, which is very interesting.
A little bit lower, yes.
But yeah, that's good to get
So
to the
keep
mindset.
that in mind. Yeah. I'll tell you, there's a lot of, in this one specifically, there's a lot of people rating it like very high and people rating it very low to sort of bring that margin together. So I'll let you know as a little hint to start. All right, we're going to start with Michael because he has a long one, and I usually don't pick long ones, but I thought it was funny.
Okay.
So I'm going to speak as Michael. Pro tip, future invading aliens. After building your technology advanced spaceships that can travel millions of light years to Earth, you might want to at least invent guns so you don't have to fight in hand-to-hand combat with humans. Also, if you melt with a splash of water, you probably don't want to invade a world isn't like 71% water where it regularly rains. This advice also applies to wicked witches.
Also applies to for sure, yeah.
Oh my god, that's actually such a good point about the rain.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if it was just a rainy day when they invaded.
Yeah. I never thought about that in terms of like witches. In the movie Wicked, what if it just started raining? Would they what would have happened there? Well, what would have does it not rain in Oz? What's going on?
True. To be fair, we don't see it rain.
No, it rains asbestos, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it just doesn't then. Yeah.
Michael sounds like someone who really likes playing Call of Duty, not in like a derogatory way, but just in the way immediately he was like, why didn't they think to bring guns? You know?
Yeah, that's very, for sure. I agree. I don't know if it's a negative review. I don't think it's positive. So I'm not sure what rating I'm thinking. I might go like 2. I think 2 might be a good one for me.
I was gonna say 3. I don't know if people really rate things 3, but yeah, I think 3 or 2.5.
Okay.
3. I sticking with 3.
3? This was a 0.5.
Oh, okay.
They had some real big criticisms. I don't know.
Oh, that's
don't know
fair.
how you guys. Yeah.
Well, I thought he was being like contrarian, but actually liked it. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah. It did have that like. He did secretly like it sort of thing and was just making fun of it. But that's something you'd find on other review websites. Not this one.
Okay, good to know.
They were just genuinely mad. Wilfred.
Okay.
Wilfred says, I don't get why so many people hate it. It's my mum's favorite film. And it spooked me quite a lot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's so cute.
Happy Mother's Day. That dates the episode. That dates the
Happy Mother's Day.
That's a good review. It's got to be positive, surely.
Oh, he's so cute. And his name's Wilfred. And he loves his mom.
Jodie, you have to guess this one first.
4. 0.5.
4. Oh, 0.5.
Is that really high? Like, is that...
That's pretty high. Yeah. But I think that's a good guess.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with that.
I think that's good. I'll go for that 4 then. If you're going to go 4.5, I'll go 4. I don't know if it's a 5. I don't know.
It's a 5 out of 5, actually.
Wow.
All right.
Rasha says, good things, all the aliens were related to the Wicked Witch of the West.
Wow, there's another one of those in there. That's good. I can't believe none of us made that joke during the episode.
Yeah.
Like during the review. That's wild.
It's really weird that I didn't make that joke after getting these
it's
reviews.
your review. That's why. I don't know.
No, but like I read these reviews, so I would have gotten this joke from the reviews, right?
That's true.
I couldn't make the joke then.
It's probably a... it's not positive or negative. Going off the basis of you just did a positive one, I'll say negative. I'll go 1.5, maybe?
I'm going to say 2.5.
That was clearly a 4 out of 5.
Oh.
Like, I don't know how you guys didn't get that one. I mean, that was obvious, I felt, on that one.
All
See, I
right.
think this is the vibe that I was going with for the first review. I thought they had the same energy, but apparently I was wrong.
It wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
Well, you might get Sydney's vibe. I think this one's pretty clear. Terrible acting.
Okay.
I'm not a Mel Gibson fan, and this movie shows why.
That's very good. I like that one. That's funny. What do you think, Jodie?
I'm going to give it a 1.
Okay.
That's a good guess. I like that
good.
guess.
I'll go 2.
2. Well, I'm sorry to say, but Sandro's correct. It's 2
Oh.
out of 5.
Oh, dear.
Yay!
Whoa, Sandro's in the lead now. And there's only
Right.
one more review. But there is still 2 points left. So the last review doesn't have a name on it.
Classic.
It's not all of them have a name. But this one says, movie made my childhood. My parents took me to see it in theaters when I was like 8. And the video footage scene traumatized me.
Yeah. 8 years old watching this in a cinema. That's an experience for sure.
Sandro.
They didn't talk about how they feel about it now. I'm gonna go 4.
What do you think, Jodie?
I think 5.
You think 5? Well, it's unfortunately a 4 out of 5. Sandro's
no.
on 2 points.
Oh no, that's not
Oh
right.
my god!
Oh,
Sandro
dear.
might actually win one for once.
I'm so happy for you.
But of course, but of course, you have to guess my review, and I'm going to say this is worth 2 points.
Oh, no.
So if you get this right, you can tie Sandro and stop him from this silly win streak that he might do.
And if I lose it, I lose 2 points as well. But that's the other.
No, definitely not.
Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
So, Sandro, which one do you think it is? You guess
I think.
first.
I think it being the Wicked Witch one is too obvious. No, it might not be too obvious. I don't know. None of the reviews shouted you.
I can tell you I definitely went into this trying to be a little tricky.
A little bit tricky. I'm gonna say the first one because the way you read it really just sounded like you wrote it. I don't know, maybe you like rehearsed beforehand, but I'm gonna say that first one.
Only in the mirror like 5 times. Like.
Even though it was a 0.5, sometimes we do, make up reviews that aren't what we actually think of the movie. So
What?
I'm gonna say that
That's
one.
crazy. I'd never do that.
I was going to say the first one too.
Whoa! I mean, you can guess the same one, or you could try and guess a different one just to see if you can beat Sandro.
Yeah, true. Okay. What other ones were there?
There was Wilfred ones where he loved his mum. We had the Wicked Witch of the West joke. We had the I hate Mel Gibson, and the this made my childhood. They took me to the theater when I was 8 and traumatized me one. I can give you a hint. I'm not traumatized from 8. This was the first time I saw this movie. Unless I made up the review, which
That's the
could
thing.
be
That
true.
would be really tricky. It would be really random if it was your mom's favorite movie, so I'm gonna guess that one, just because that would be funny.
That would be funny.
That is funny, yeah.
I'll give you a hint. I don't think she's seen this film.
That's fair enough.
So it could be-
just
it
would have
could
been
be a
such a
different
funny
one.
thing to hold back the whole podcast.
Yeah. I try
Not
not.
mention.
Most of my reviews I do have to change because I want to say the comment during the podcast,
Yeah.
and not at the
Oh,
very
so
end.
it's the Wicked Witch one.
What? No, that's crazy. You don't have to pick that one.
It's that one.
All right. Unfortunately, Sandro, you'd have gotten that one wrong.
Oh!
Because it is the Wicked Witch of the West. And I was holding back that joke the entire time.
That's really tricky.
Yeah,
Wow.
there you go.
Well,
So
how
now
about...
you guys tied. There
Whoa.
we go.
Well, how
done.
about that? We went ahead
Yay.
and tied. Now, Jody, usually if a guest loses this game, they don't get to plug any of their stuff. But you tied, so I
Yes.
guess that you can plug your...
Yeah. That is the rule we've had, but no one's ever lost it yet. So
I have half the amount of time.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
have to do it really quick.
You have the podcast. You got all of the socials. There'll be links in the episode description as well.
Yes. I am a stand-up and music comedian, so I do lots of live shows. I have a solo show, and I do spots and things like that, and I post clips on my personal social media, which is at Jodie Sloan. And then, like we talked about at the beginning, I have this D&D improv romantasy fantasy podcast that's just started, and I'm really excited about that and hoping to do lots of like cool series on there, podcasts, interviews, things like that. So if you go follow at Hot O'Clock TV, all the information about that will be there.
Amazing. And yeah, as mentioned, links in the episode description. And yeah, your solo show that I saw, was it last year? That was fantastic. So go see that if it's anywhere
Thank
near you.
you. Yes, in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Excellent, yes.
Yes, or London. I'm doing it in London too, if you happen to be listening from London. But yeah, that's about the time that I made a song about situational hotness. Like, is he hot, or is he just your barista? Or is he hot, or is he just really good at hitting an alien with a bat, you know?
finally, someone's getting to the hard-hitting questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then TikTok took that song and sent it out as a notification to millions of people with just a picture of my face and the words,
Whoa.
"Is she hot?" Yeah, which prompted people to come give their opinion.
Oh, that's
Yep.
great. I'm sure
Yep.
those opinions were very welcome.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a great live show, so if you have a chance to see it, definitely head out and see it. It links in the episode
Thank you
description.
guys so much for having me on. This has been so fun.
No worries
I
at
love
all.
being forced to watch a movie. It's great.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just watch them on TikTok in clips.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the small
I've been
clips.
doing that. Yeah, absolutely. Relatable.
Yeah, that's how I watched this movie, actually. Was...
Yeah. It took me a while. I had to get the algorithm right, you know.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
In different order of
Yeah,
parts.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We are on everything as well. Check out our stuff in the episode description. If you want to vote on what random movies we cover, patreon.com/oldie-buddy-goodie-pod. You can vote on the movies, including the one that we're going to be discussing right now, which is what we're doing next week, because Zach chose a bunch of movies, and then we told Patreon to vote on them. Unlike last week, we didn't give them the name of the movie. We only gave them genres and actors and years and stuff, so they're going in blind for this one, which should be fun. Do you want to reveal what they are, Zach?
I think it's important to reveal what they are for my next segment, which is a new segment which you've never done before.
Oh, a new segment?
Yeah.
Wait, the episode's not over? Oh, dear.
It's
okay.
not quite over yet. It's not quite over yet. Although I did want to say he was way hotter when he was batting that alien. Normally, this would be the part of the show where we'd be deciding what we watch next week.
Yeah.
But as you just said, the Patreons have already chosen that, right?
They have. They've chosen one.
Yeah. So they got to choose from 4 movies, which they didn't know what they were. They were just given some, basic descriptions of them.
Yeah.
And they picked them. But, of course, each of those movies was connected to this movie in some way.
That's the rules of the show, yeah.
So I'm going to do Match That Connection!
Yes.
Yeah. Where I'm going to give you the 4 movies I picked. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give you the 4 connections. And your job will be to try and match the connections to the movies, to try and guess which connection's which.
This sounds fun.
So I made sure they all had different connections, but it's going to be a toss-up for most of them, I'm pretty sure.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. So let me tell you the movies first. Mm-hmm. So the movies were Stuart Little.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which is a good one.
Yep.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Okay.
Which is a good one. The Sixth Sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe the connection's obvious there. And Caddo Lake.
What is that?
That is a M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah, I can see that he's involved. Yeah, he produced it. Okay, awesome, nice.
Yeah.
Came out last year. That's too recent for our podcast, Zach. What are you doing?
Yep. So now I'm going to tell you the connections. Now,
All right.
some of these connections possibly apply to multiple movies in this list, but only one of them was the one I chose for each movie. I picked the connection first, and then I got the movie. Is what I'll say.
All right.
So the connections are this Signs was produced and released using Walt Disney Productions and Touchstone Productions.
Yes.
And one of the movie's connections is Touchstone Productions.
Oh, that's okay. Sure. All right.
Yeah, that one's a tricky one.
That's a tricky one.
One of the connections was M. Night Shyamalan,
Okay.
because that's a connection that we can have. One of the connections was it was released on M. Night Shyamalan's birthday, aka the 6th of August.
Okay. Sure. This movie wasn't released. Oh, yeah. No, I see it. Okay. All right.
No, the connection is M. Night Shyamalan's birthday.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Sure.
M. Night Shyamalan was in this at his birthday, and so I picked a movie that had his birthday.
All right.
And then the last connection is as release of this recording, as we recorded this, it has the same critic Rotten Tomatoes score.
Oh
AKA
my goodness.
76%.
That is. Oh, this is okay. These are some tough connections that you've got here.
And especially for that last one, the 76%, I had to scroll and find the movie. And I was going to go with the first one I found with the same percent, but the first one I found was Age of Ultron.
Oh, that's
and so I was like, I don't want to do that one. So the next one I did, I was like, oh, that's very funny. I'm going to use that then.
All right. Then. Okay.
I'm going to go through each of them now, and I want you to assign one to them. All right.
Okay. All right.
And so we go through them. So first off, Stuart Little. What are we thinking for Stuart Little?
I think M. Night Shyamalan is Stuart Little.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I
Okay,
think-
you're putting M. Night Shyamalan with Stuart Little. Yep. Sandra, what are you thinking?
For Stuart Little, I'm gonna go the critic score. I feel like Stuart Little's
Okay.
probably got negative reviews just because it's a kids thing, but
Yeah, that makes
it's a good
sense.
movie.
That's some good
so
logic.
I'll go critic score then.
All right. Now, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? What are we thinking of assigning that one?
I'm thinking Touchstone for that. Just because I'm like, that has Disney people in it, so legally it has to be. So
That makes sense.
I think that's the same critic Rotten Tomato score.
Yep. That's a good one. All right, The Sixth Sense. Now, Sandra, you already said you're locking in.
yeah, I'm locked in for birthday.
Yeah, you're locking in the birthday.
I agree with that.
You're
I
not
think if
putting
he's-
in M. Night Shyamalan for The Sixth Sense, Sandra?
Obvious.
That seems a
It's
bit
obvious.
silly.
That
seems a bit
I think
silly.
It's obvious. So
It
So
just seems like
obvious,
something
isn't
he
it?
would do if he was going to write himself in as the
Yeah.
preacher's wife murderer, but also the cool enough to get the alien in the closet. I think he would also, release something on his birthday.
for sure, yeah.
Are you also locking in
Yes.
The Sixth for that one? Yeah. All right. And then finally, Caddo Lake. Caddo Lake? Yes.
The one left over for me is the Touchstone Productions one.
Right, so you're going to put
Okay.
Touchstone on that one?
That
and what was your
one-
last one?
I'll just go for the connection of M. Night Shyamalan.
Yep,
Just
that's the
as a
last one you
person,
have. Yeah.
He's involved, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What were the connections?
All right. From Stuart Little. Stuart Little. Of course, the connection. It was really obvious, and you all got it. Was M. Night Shyamalan. That was the connection, because of course he helped out with the screenwriting.
Did
of,
he?
Yeah, he did. He did. That I was looking at M. Night Shyamalan. I was like, he did what now?
Oh my yeah, he wrote it. That's
So I
what
believe
the-
Jodie got that one correct.
Damn.
Well done.
Amazing.
That was very good. You didn't fall for my bait of putting it on The Sixth Sense or Caddo Lake. I thought that was good. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, though, was Touchstone Productions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Sandro, you got that one correct.
Nice.
Well done, well done. And I can tell you, The Sixth Sense was released in August 6
What?
in America.
All right.
It was released in October in Australia, though.
Yeah,
but in the Americas, it was on his birthday.
All right.
Which I
I
thought
love
was cool.
the way he lives his life. I want to live my life like M. Night Shyamalan.
I found that by searching up movies that were released on the 6th.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's very funny. I'm definitely going to use The Sixth Sense now.
Oh, that
It
is
is
funny.
really funny.
And then the last one, Caddo Lake, has the same critic Rotten Tomatoes score as of
Right.
recording, aka 76.
Huh.
And I was just scrolling through the movies, and first was Age of Ultron. I was like, no, definitely not. And then the next movie that came up was this one. I was like, oh, that was done by M. Night Shyamalan. Sure.
That's
Screw
very
it.
funny.
I'm putting that one in. Yeah,
All right.
there we go.
Well, there we go. Some good connections there. I think we both got like 2 points there or something.
Yeah, you both got 2 points
Nice.
each. Well
Excellent.
done. Good
Another
work.
tie. All right, so out of those movies, the winner is... It was actually really close. It was between Stuart Little and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. There was one vote in between them.
Okay.
Just pushing it over the edge, and the movie that won, the movie that we're doing next week, is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So how about that?
Way!
Doing that one next week.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy.
I think that's a good one. So
I did agree Caddo Lake was a bit too recent. Like, we're called Oldie but a Goodie, but we're doing a very recent movie. So I was like, but it's funny. It worked out well. So I was like, sure. But I'm very glad, because I've never seen that movie, so I'd like to.
That'd be good. All right, well, next week, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? But Jodie, thank you so much for hanging out, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I had a lovely time.
Yeah.
And we will leave now with a quick word of warning that if there are signs in your backyard, be scared of
Aliens.
Get your
Doesn't matter what
tinfoil
they-
hats out.
That's right.
Yeah. There's that sign that says, watch out for ducks. That means aliens. Stay hydrated.